record. Okay, great. And we're going to go live
Oh.
here on Facebook and go live.
Oh, are we Facebook Live?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, shit.
I love that. Right. We get to be natural and
Oops.
fun in our quirky selves.
Is that okay?
Every day. Every day.
I love that. And let's just see, I always have that extra hesitant of we are live with our beautiful sister, Jill McMahon.
Hi, guys.
Hi, world. Jill, say hi to the world. World, say
hi. Hi, world. I'm Jill McMahon. Nice to meet you.
And as everyone that's been in our lives, honored to call you our sister, and our fun and fabulous and quirky journey that we have all been on together has been just blessing after blessing after blessing. And we just light each other up whether it's a Zoom call or when we get to see each other or it's spinning. And by the way, you are this spinner extraordinaire of spinners, teacher who just takes that level to the next bar. But our journey and how we met and why we're having this conversation, because as we know the importance of the intention stick and what you live and breathe every day of helping loved ones, dealing with someone that has lost a loved one, or suicide prevention, and everything we all speak about is about touching another soul. So as you know, and we say with everyone, we could talk for 40 hours straight, but this is about you sharing about your journey, where you are, what you're doing, and how beautiful your soul is to have touched so many souls around the world. And that's why we just love you so much. So
you guys are far too kind. Thank you. And you're right, everybody. I have to tell you, it's dangerous when the three of us get together because it's some type of crazy explosive energy. But I will say, talking about how we met and how our souls came together, I really do think that it was some type of divine intervention. As you would always say, there are no, what is it?
No coincidences, no chance.
Right. So, I mean, in the beginning, long story really short, I first met Marla at the gym because she was in my spin class. And Marla came up to me at the end of class, and I played a Steve Miller song. And she said, I just want to let you know, I loved that song. It was great. It spoke to me. Like, I love Steve. And I had seen her before, and I will talk to a wall. I will make friends with anybody, but anybody who can come up and share the energy with me, right? We walked to the car and we just chatted and connected the whole way. And it was really interesting, guys, because it wasn't, this wasn't the first thing I saw, the intention stick. It wasn't that I'd heard about your mission. It wasn't that I'd seen your website or that somebody had told me about it. It was Marla and I organically connected. And I remember after 20 minutes, I said, what is that? I asked her, what is that around your neck? And the second, girl, I don't know if you recall, but the second you told me, I think I must have gotten literal goosebumps because that message just so aligns with my heart and it aligns with my life's passion. And I don't feel like there are a lot of people in this world that can understand it. I don't feel like they always cross my path. So that was an incredible day, and we have been fast friends since then, and like-hearted souls, in my opinion.
Ooh, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I just want to add to that because as long as you didn't think I was harassing you because I followed you to your car, but
Stalker alert.
We instantly bonded, and I had no idea what you truly are doing every day of your life. I only knew you as my spin instructor.
Right.
Incredible, fun, energetic, beautiful, light instructor. And I was like, I just need to go say hi to you.
Wow.
Yes. And so you're right. We instantly bonded, especially when you shared what you do every day. I said, oh my goodness, I need to know you.
And she came home that evening and said, I think I met my BFF. and she shared the music, and because Steve's a dear friend, and the journey, and again, no coincidences, that was the song you happened to be playing, and then it's again that vibration, that soul to soul connection. And whoever again meets Marla, I always love that same connection that someone else gets to experience. I sometimes am selfish that I get to say she's my wife, but she's also my immortal beloved, my better half. She makes me the best version of myself. So I only send those same blessings to the people that cross her path, that she can do the same and share that love and that light. And I know that's what you felt.
It was right away. Right. And, again, the pot only got sweeter once I met you, Scott, obviously. But for me to, for those that may not know, so yes, I do work in suicide prevention and suicide loss, but the spin instructor hat, that's just my alter ego. My day-to-day life is I'm a grief therapist. So I work with, for 19 years now, I've worked with families solely that have lost their loved ones to suicide. And, it's my passion. It's what I love. I believe that it was my calling, all of the above, but I don't often just start chatting up like-hearted people. So your mission spoke to me then. It speaks to me now. I feel like whenever I can, I will share it as often as I can with others, because it's very powerful. The mind is powerful. Our mindset is very powerful. Intention is extremely powerful. We hear all the time, you get back what you put out. We hear it, but do we really stop and think about it? Do we really stop and take stock of what that means? So you may just be hearing like, okay, great. When's mine coming in? Well, are you putting it out? Are you putting it out? So you guys put it out. You put the energy out. You put the positivity out. And I think in some ways, through this beautiful piece of jewelry, it has more power than you ever realized, because to me, it creates the mindset to others. It isn't what this is going to give them or what they're going to gain from it in the long run. You and I know that you gain from this, but it really, to me, teaches people to put out and to give out. And wow, you guys, that's big. This world needs more of that. That's for sure.
Yes. And we're seeing that right now in our current climate. People are struggling.
Left and right. Anxiety is high right now.
Exactly.
That is so beautiful, because again, especially not just as your ultra ego, you say, but we have to put the work in, right? To put out, we receive, and we're not doing it for those reasons that, oh, I'm going to do good so I can get good things in return. We're not. So we share when, regardless, just continue to always put out good. Expect nothing in return, and anything that comes in anyways is a blessing. But it's not why we're doing it for those reasons. We do it because we want to help another person. And what you're doing for so many families, and I have to take this, I'm going to go way back, because when when we first met and you started sharing what you and Marion do and the grief support, and you asked us, because this was the first time someone ever asked us, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, if we would come and speak to this beautiful group of families that had just lost a loved one. And Marla and I felt so honored, and we're like, okay, right? We're just like, sure, we'll come. We have no idea. And you're like, okay, you could speak for 30 minutes or, whatever, and you'll just kind of go with the flow. And we showed up, and I'll never forget this. I'm going to let Marla finish the story. But we shared our backstory, the journey, how we received the intention stick, what this is doing to help so many people get through obstacles and challenges, especially here we're speaking to everyone that was grieving,
Yeah.
to help them get through the next phase of their life with courage and love and trust and everything we talked about. And Marla is finishing up this beautiful talk that we're all having. And she says, which I love you're going to share, she says, this reminds me of the Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
And I'm going to let you share this because it's not my story.
I remember that. I shared that this tool, we can associate it to the Wizard of Oz at the end of the movie, when Dorothy wants to go home.
Yeah.
And the good witch, Glenda, tells her, you've always had the power within you. Everything you need is inside of you. All the tools are right there. Right?
And yes, you have the power to go home. And as she said that, all of a sudden, which we didn't know, there's this big screen behind us, but we're not paying attention, and everyone's pointing like behind us, like, and we're like, what? And we turn around, and one of the screens that just appeared was the yellow brick road.
Yep.
Now, and every hair on my body standing up right now, you can't make these things up. There's, again, no coincidences why you and Marla met and in our journey that has been so blessed together, but just we're always being guided. Listen to the messages. Again, there's no randomness. You weren't at the right place at the right time. You and Marla, us, we have been so divinely guided to continue to touch these souls that are going through so much, or talking about the things that weren't the norm. Nobody talks about suicide. It's the, shh, we can't talk about it, not in our house. And more, which we've learned from you. And thank you for you being our teacher, truly, to share. We must talk about that, because you never know what someone is going through. I'm fine, I'm fine. And I said to you, if you have the miracle cure to I'm fine, we want it, because everyone else seems to be going through something, which is true. Stop with the facade. Stop, I'm Superman, I'm Wonder Woman. No, we're human, and we have challenges, and we are tested to the core. But we, as you know, all of us talk about, this too shall pass. We will get through these challenges, or horrificness, or God forbid sickness or tragedy together, because we're making people feel they are not alone, and they are loved, and they matter, and everything we just we love about you.
But being hopeful is very, very powerful, right? And if you have to be intentional, if you have to be methodical each and every day that you put this around your neck, and you have to think about what you are hoping to get out of that day, or what you are hoping to receive that day, or to see that day, or to stumble across that day, just that mindfulness of putting it in this tube and putting it around your neck. I understood the value of this gift immediately after meeting you, because so many of the families that I work with, and the bereaved that I work with, have no hope. They are so bogged down and feel heavy and feel destitute, that they don't ever believe that life is going to bring them joy again, or that they are just organically going to laugh again, or they will ever be able to fall in love again. They're not hopeful for their future. And so this provides a little bit of that, and a little bit of that in a world of darkness, you guys, as you know, it goes very, very far, right? It starts a little and then it gets a little bigger, and then the curtain opens up a little more and a little more and a little more. So, yeah, this is a gift. And having you guys at the first Eric's House workshop, it was a smaller workshop. It was, probably a first or second workshop. We probably had, 25 people there, maybe 20, and they didn't know who you were. They didn't know you were coming. They didn't know what your passion and your mission was all about. But boy, did that room get quiet. And, it's one of those rare moments where you weren't looking at them like, oh, I'm so sorry. right? You've experienced a suicide. That's so sad. You were looking at them like your sisters and your brothers and people that mattered and people that had a future. And it was just, again, energy is very, very powerful.
It really is. And you're exactly right. And that's how we felt when we went in that room as well. We didn't see it that way. Scott and I and you believe that we're here to uplift, to inspire, to impact, to make someone feel that they are loved who does not feel loved, to make someone feel as though they matter who may not feel as though they matter.
Right.
Give that person the idea that they do have purpose, to know that they have purpose while they are here on earth. And that is our job, to make sure, to reassure those people, those souls, that we are all connected, we are all one. And what happens to you affects me. Affects that person, affects that person. So it's our duty while we're here to fulfill that, to fulfill that mission.
Well, I would love to add to that, because yes, that is what we breathe and live every day, all of us. And what I love that you just shared, Jill, is that we have to give them hope first. You cannot, as I know we've shared with you many times, excuse me, you know me, I get Mr. Emotional, but you can't walk into a room of children or loved ones or people that are grieving and say, you guys got to have faith and you're gonna No, that's coming from ego. You need to let someone have hope, right? To let them know a better day is coming, that they have gone through something so tragic and so horrific that you just faith. No, give that beautiful soul a little, like you said, that little hope that you're going to get through this, and step by step and day by day, and every day is going to get better and easier and better and easier. And as you said, they're going to laugh again, and they're going to smile again, and they're going to have love again. And then they'll have faith, because they knew from hitting that bottom, a better day was coming, and that they were going to have this tool, that reminder that does give them that faith. Because when they're tested again, which you know, the more good we do, the harder we're tested.
Oh yeah.
They have that reminder that I have that hope, I have that faith, and I'm going to stay forward on that path with a heart.
The interesting thing to add to that, you guys, the interesting thing with this passion and that belief is that I will have faith for you even when you don't have faith for yourself. So I know that when you are traumatized and you are hurt and you feel damaged, you're not capable at that moment of having faith that it's going to be any better. You just got a horrible diagnosis. You know, the police just showed up at your front door. You just lost your job. You're in the middle of COVID and you've lost all of your money, right? And that, at that moment, it is so valuable not to skirt that under the rug, not to shove it down, not to drink it down. It's so valuable to feel it. And even if that means for a while you feel the darkness, because at that moment, you can't tap into the faith that it's going to be okay. But I can do that for you. I mean, I think, or you, right? That's what we're saying. Like, when you don't have the faith, we'll have it for you.
Yes.
And there's some days that I don't have the faith. And I was just talking to one of my Army members just a minute ago, right? I have an Army. My Army takes care of me. Yes. And I needed her for 5 minutes, because for 5 minutes, I didn't have faith in a certain situation, but she had it for me.
Yes.
And that is part of the collective consciousness. Right?
Oh, girl. Yeah.
And because that is us putting it out for you and vice versa. And the reason why it's crucial that we help our children, because the moment that we cut our kids off from consciousness, then we are taking away their tools, the tools that they need, right, to get through their circumstance.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I love that you're so spot on, that
I love watching the two of you talk with one
another. We're like a ping pong ball. We're like feed off of what we all feed off. But all three of us, but this is, as Marla said, it's the collective, because it's letting the world know that we're all here for one another, that we are not alone. And as you and as Marla and I, it's like, message me, call me. This is what we're here for, to help that moment that we are feeling a weakness, and we all do, but we're able to feel, right? We are, and as you just said, whether it's the darkness or the pain or whatever that person is going through, they are able to feel, but it lets them know they're alive and they exist. And it's okay. And it's okay to reach out to someone for help.
Yep.
And this is this message that if someone's watching, or this just reaches one person that's going through something painful or tragic or horrific, reach out to someone, reach out to us, reach out to you. Yep. We're here to help get through that next hurdle or the next part of your life. And it is giving that person hope. It is then going to give them faith. And then they are going to, just
and it's about setting that intention, right? So when you touch this, for a minute, we can get off the path. We all do.
Yep.
We're all human. We get off the path, but the minute you touch this, it's that reminder of what you need in your life, whether you have courage in here, whether you have faith, whether you have knowledge, whatever it is that you need right now in your life.
It grounds you. It brings you right back. So Scott, to your point at Marla, 100%, like closing that loop, girl. I mean, when you are feeling hopeless or stressed, or I have to give a big presentation and I'm anxious, or I really literally just want to take all of those sleeping pills, right? A little bit of this, honestly, looking down, seeing that it's there, remembering that at one point at some time today, you knew that you wanted more, or you put the word courage in there, or you put the word inspire in there, or light, all of a sudden you go, it just grounds you, right? It's that mental grounding of like, wait a minute, it's in there somewhere. I'm alive in there somewhere, and I know I want more, or I know I can do this, or I know that I got it, or I know that it's very powerful. Because when we're feeling hopeless and dark, we can't remember those things. We are falling down a tunnel, and all we hear is echoes, and we feel that everybody is very, very far away. This is never far away.
No.
Never. And something we touched on before, Jill, tell us what you think about this point, which is that I think also what comes into play are people's opinions of one another, meaning the judgment.
Yep.
And that there's never a shortage of opinions. we see a shortage of water and food and toilet paper, but there's always a surplus of opinions.
Always.
And so we have to stop worshiping that God of opinions, and not worry what other people may think of us.
Yes.
And come to yourself, look within inside of yourself and nurture who you are. Love yourself.
Yes.
Because we're conditioned to think differently through life. We were programmed to think, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not good enough, whatever that is. These are things we were taught, and we start believing those thoughts, but they're not true.
Mm-mm.
They're not true. And
shut the heck up.
Right.
Yep.
And listen to this. And that's so beautiful.
And remind yourself frequently, right? That Marla, that's beautiful and it's spot on, but you may need to remind yourself daily.
That's
yes.
right.
It's creating a new thought process. It's creating a new pattern. It's creating a new habit. And that just takes practice, and everybody is capable of it, right? Everybody is capable of changing that mindset of I'm not the smartest student, or I'm not the best employee, or I'm not the thinnest gymnast on the team. You wake up every morning and you go, but I love me, and I love me, and I'm fast, and I'm nimble, and I'm right. But it doesn't, you can't just tell yourself once and magic, you feel it. It's a practice, just like everything in life is a practice.
100%. And it almost reminds me what you were just saying, that momentum of getting on that momentum of gratitude, right? And talk about taking, in a sense, instant medicine for yourself, which is getting on that state of gratitude, that momentum, and just saying, you know what, I am fast. I love that I'm fast. I love that I'm quirky. I
will find this interesting that, and we're talking just about it right now, that I learned in grad school that when you're talking about childhood development, for every one negative comment that you make to a child, it takes 9 positive affirmations to replace that. Now, if just think about the simple, brain mechanics, emotional development. Well, if that's how we process as kids, that goes from being written in chalk to being written in permanent ink in our brains. Yep. So even as adults, when we're receiving those snide looks or those negative comments or that little comment down, on your social media IG page, yep. You're going to have to reinforce that with 10 positives or 12 positives, and you can give yourself the positives. So Marla, right? It's like, I'm quirky. I love being quirky.
Well, what we shared with you way back, that I would love to have known this as a child, that we've taught to our children, and it was the acronym of NMP, which stands for not my problem. So if someone doesn't love you or Marla or I or our children for who we are, not in a mean way, that's not our problem. Right. Don't you dare change to try and make that other person happy, because most likely you're not going to. And as we said earlier today, the harder we try to make someone else happy and we don't, we end up being more miserable. Yes. And if we listen to what someone else says, whether it's negative or whatever that may be, just brush it off and just smile, because they're reflecting on the things that they may not like about themselves. Yep. So those are the ones, if they're leashing or acting out, we have to send them more love, because they're going through something. And as you and I and Marla know, that's what we were here to do, is just send that love to everyone. Even if we're going through something difficult, we have to always put out to that love to everyone, and we do. And watch that energy shift, or watch that person fill up.
Well, I was going to say, I want to say it before I forget. I love sharing this, that what someone has to say about me is none of my business.
Woo. Oh yeah, girl.
And with regards to what you were just talking about, I think of, remember the book, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Mm-hmm. Powerful book. Recommend this book. But the idea of what you were talking about, what Scott was talking about, Viktor Frankl talks about his time in the concentration camp during Holocaust. And he had the choice. The choice that he had, which he didn't have many, but the choice that he had was to either live positively or negatively, meaning he could either put out from his heart the stress, the depression, the anger, and he knew everyone would feel that energy because that's science, or he could be positive, right? Yep. Stay uplifted, and he could put out that love and kindness and joy to everyone around him. And that's the decision he had made. He had made that promise that he was going to stay in that path, on that path with the heart. So the people around him would stay uplifted.
Absolutely.
And I think that's your point too, right?
Yes. Right. Absolutely. That is a powerful book, right? And he attributes his survival to that mindset, because when he came out of it, right, he had lost so many friends that didn't share that positive fortitude. Yes. Scott, you've mentioned something in several different ways, but it's a common theme, and that is loving those that can't love themselves, especially loving those that may want to dish it, throw it. That's hard, you guys. You know that. That's why I wanted to bring it up again. But I have the most amount of, I revere most the people that are capable of loving their enemies, of loving, you know, their neighbors that just want to call the HOA on them, right? Those people that are able to go, what's going on in his mind? That means that he has to lash out at me, because it's not about me, Marla. You're 100% right. It's not ever about me. I love that, the acronym that you guys use with your kids. You know, another way of saying that I always think of is, I don't want to be an imposter in my own skin.
Correct.
Right? Like I know, and I joke around about this. I've joked around probably as a defense mechanism since I was a teenager, but I say to everybody, like, I'm an acquired taste, man. Like, I am totally clear on that. I am not for everybody. But when I say it that way to me, that means that I'm good with it. Like, I'm good with it, right? Back in the day, like, did you like Sprite or did you like 7-Up? Everybody had a clear choice. I wanted 7-Up. So I'm some people's Sprite. Right. And that's good. That sometimes doesn't have anything to do with me. No. It may have to do with somebody's personal preferences and choices, right? Based off of their life experience.
Exactly.
And that is so beautiful and so in agreement and alignment of, again, continuing to share what we're talking about with everyone, is to be yourself, to speak your truth, and to be your truth. Because again, when we can let, as we've talked about and we talk about with everyone, I am that I am. Mm-hmm. Again, whether someone says God, the universe, the source, the light, and we say this always, this isn't about religion. This is understanding that we're perfect, you're perfect, this world is perfect, exactly who they are. Mm-hmm. And they need to finally find out who they are for the first time in their lives, and be that person and not worry about what someone else in this world thinks about them. Because we don't know, I'm not saying us, but this world doesn't know who we are, because we've been programmed to be everyone other than who we are. And this COVID, whatever obstacle, this gift, as we know, is allowing people to stop and look to see who they are for the first time in their lives. And it could be hard because most people don't want to look inside themselves to really see who they are, but they can't continue to live a life and be miserable and trying to be everyone else's pleaser, and I need to be just like this, and I need to be out of this, blah, blah, blah. And it's not being their authentic self. Right. So what this beautiful message is for everyone to talk about just now, this conversation, is be exactly who you are, and don't worry about what anyone other person thinks other than you, knowing it's making you happy. And this is who I am, and let the world see that, because it's going to be beautiful when you come out of that shell and be who you are for the first time. And if someone doesn't like you for who you are, then that's not your problem. That's that other person's problem. Don't you dare change. And we can't wait to see all of these beautiful souls emerge and come to understand, I'm going to be happy now.
Right. Right. I just had this conversation with a client today, you guys. How interesting. Is a doer, and she's a goer, and she's in graduate school, and she holds a job, and she's starting a blog, and she's and I have this internship, and today she said, I've had 8 weeks to just sit with myself. When have I done that? And boy, have I learned a lot about myself. And I said, and without this pandemic, would you have found time? Would you have made time to do that for yourself? And she said, oh no. Oh no. And I feel good. I feel good about elements of myself for the very first time in my life, because I've examined them and I understand them, and now I've accepted them. So yeah, I mean, all of it's amazing.
Blessing.
Being mindful, being aware.
Exactly.
And I know you're going to ask. Yes. So I'll let you ask, because you're so cute. that, so someone watching this for the first time, or I know we love you just as much.
You too.
Someone that may not know what we're talking about, or how the intention stick not only has impacted your life and your family and all the friends you've given this to, but how would you explain to someone maybe going through something right now, or whether it's a child or an adult, but how this can help them, or how it can help them get through their journey? Is it?
I think,
yeah, or just in general, if someone doesn't have an intention stick, why this is significant. I know, right?
there are some words that are not earthly words, right? So I'm gonna try to encapsulate this feeling that I have in English sentences. But I think that, to me, the power of the stick is it's mindfulness. It's reminding yourself every day or once a week or just when things get really tough, that there's more than what's going on around you, and that you may not be tangible and you may not be able to see it and you may not fully understand it. But when you have this, Marla, and you touch it and you rub it and you hold it at times when you don't feel like anybody has your back, or, you know, you're questioning, like, is that medical procedure going to go well that my mom is having today? Nobody else is going to understand this. I feel so lost and all alone. This is more. This isn't just you. This isn't just the medical procedure. This is trusting something more and believing something more. And even if you don't believe in anything right now, having one of these around your neck, on top of your heart, reminds you that there's something else, and that we're not in control as much as we like to believe as humans that we are in control. And just to sit back and trust. It's very, it again, you guys, it creates a habit. It becomes a way of reshaping your thinking. It develops consciousness. And believe it or not, when you see people around town wearing one of these, all of the sudden you have like sisters everywhere. I've been to concerts and seen people wearing these. I've seen these on TV, and all of the sudden there is, if you feel misunderstood or different or an imposter in your own skin, you see this and you know that you are part of something. Like, you know that. It's incredible.
I've had chills.
Yeah.
I think this whole time.
You know, wow. That was so beautiful, Jill. Wow. There's nothing I can add to that, because that is your truth. That is that
is my truth.
And that is what we're sharing with the world. And you know, and I know Marla and I have said this to you 1,000 times, that you are as important to this as Marla and I. It's not about Marla and I. It's about us collectively, this beautiful world coming back together as one, to as you just said, to let everyone know that they're loved, they're surrounded by love, they matter, they have purpose. All the things we talk about 24/7 and 1,000,000 times over, and we're never going to stop repeating them, because we need to drill that into the beautiful minds and consciousness of this world to understand, you know what, they're right.
Right.
And let go of the reins and trust. And that's one Marla and I keep in ours permanently, is trust.
Ooh, you guys, beautiful.
Because if we don't trust the journey, nothing else matters.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right. And sometimes
that's hard.
Like you just said, let go.
Let it go.
It's not
Scary.
easy. I been tested many, and we're still going to be tested many times. But just trust and know that there is something much bigger than all of us guiding us, and that everything always works out for us. I'm not talking about for us, right? If you really think about it, of all the negativity and fear and anxiety and doubt and anger, everything always works out.
It does. It does. And people have a really hard time with that concept, but it does. You have to step away from it for a minute and look at it and see that of what you've learned from it, right? So I thank you guys for this gift, because I think that I know in my work, and we don't even have the time today, but we could spend a whole nother hour talking about the ways in which we found out that we had already been connected prior to meeting Marla. Thank you, Steve Miller. I will always say thank you. Prior to Steve Miller and prior to meeting you, Scott, we have, I think you guys see this all the time, but I have been shocked that there are at least 10 different ways in which we were already tethered to one another.
Yes.
There are people that we knew very, very closely in common. There are life experiences that all three of us have had separate but together.
Yes.
And so again, that has just reinstilled this faith to me about what this mission is about. And you have shared it with the world. And I just hope that everybody else is open enough to give something like this to themselves, because they deserve it.
That's beautiful.
That's right.
We all deserve it.
I'm laughing because I'm just seeing 6 degrees of separation of Scott and Marla and Jill, and it's just it's bigger than that.
Yeah, that'll be part 2.
That's part 2 of our next conversation.
It's very layered, and you're right. And when people believe and receive this and open themselves up, the synchronicities.
Oh yeah.
My goodness, we just laugh and giggle. So what you just shared, the connectedness, watching these dots from around the world be aligned and connected, and you just laugh and giggle. It's literally a giggle and laugh-a-thon when we get together, and we're like, but of course. And there's no coincidences.
After the 4th or 5th connection, we were like, oh, of course. Like,
I'll get a text from
my
Jill.
uncle dated your cousin. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll get a text from Jill like, are you flipping kidding me? But that's what everyone in this world's going to experience. That
exactly.
And it's just beginning. So one, thank you for your time and your story and your heart, and you sharing what you and Marianne do every day for so many. So thank you for you being you, and the love that you continue to give of yourself to so many. And we are all so blessed and grateful we're in each other's lives, and we love you, love you, love you. And
Scott and Marla, thank you for being my friends, and thank you for folding me into your mission, and letting me share this with a lot of people that I love to help enlighten them, because they're sick of hearing it from here. This is way more powerful. So I love you guys. Thank you for helping me help others.
And that you know the journey is just beginning, right?
Oh, I'm clear.
Oh yeah.
Good. And
but we're blessed to be walking it together.
Yes.
Amen.
And as always, sending you blessings and intentions of gratitude, light, and love from our hearts and souls to you and your beautiful family. Mwah. We can't wait for these real hugs, because
I'm gonna hug the hell out of both of you.
I know, it's okay. I'm going
nuts.
You know I'm the over-hugger crybaby.
I itch.
Yeah, I know. Marla says this virus was really about me not being able to give hugs. So, yeah, sorry, I'm not going to pass that test. So,
love you guys. Have a great night.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, my love.
Bye, crew.